When Hudson went into rejection and we were readmitted and spent day after day with no answers, our faith was really tested, and we started to have questions and doubts, and I hated it. I hated every second of that. We have spent years with this deep relationship with the Lord just to feel alone, abandoned, or forgotten. And that is such a dark, scary place to be. So our faith was, and still is, if I'm being honest, tested on a daily basis. But we started counseling once we got home, and after losing Hudson, we started to really memorize Psalm 13, which talks about like how long, Lord, must this continue? But we really started to learn about lament and how the Lord wants us to bring our grief and our sorrows and our lament to Him. Because at the end of the day, we don't get to choose the situations we're given, but it's how we handle them that matters and how we learn and live through them. So our theme has definitely been grieving gracefully and how to get from the hurt, because you have to deal with the hurt and move through it to get to help, hope, and healing. You can't ignore the hurt, and there's days that I still admit that I ignore the hurt, and then it's not great, because then you feel like the marathon you're running of working through your grief starts all over at mile 1. And so we've been learning how to lament, how to learn from lament, and then how to live through lament. And it's not something that's talked about. It's often a taboo subject in churches, I feel like, and in conversations with other believers or non-believers. It's uncomfortable. Grief is messy, and people just would rather have a quick fix or just not bring it up. And the other thing we really struggled with too is people equating or saying that they relate. We know how you're feeling, but you don't. So we've just been working through that and with the Lord of, here we are, and this is where we're at, but we need your help daily because you chose this for us, and we don't know why, but here we are. And I keep thinking too, when so often we prayed over Hudson or we lifted him up, that we prayed, your will be done. And it's definitely a hard thing to realize, like, his will was not our will. It didn't line up.
Right.
So it's one thing to pray it, but also to believe it and then start to live that. It's hard. But we have to, as believers, say like this, we know that we don't know what's best, and you do. And that you chose to bring Hudson to the best possible place, even though we wish every single minute of every day that it was here. It's not. Trusting the Lord has definitely been something that we were tested on, but also knew was necessary. And through our counseling and through our conversations together, and basically just navigating this side of heaven without Hudson, trust has been a huge theme, just like grace. Whether it's giving ourselves grace while we learn to trust the Lord again, or it's giving other people grace while we kind of figure out life. But something I've written kind of goes nicely with this. Our sorrow, our pain, and our loss is incredibly lonely. We're glad it's lonely because we wouldn't wish this on anyone, but its piercing silence is crippling. No one gets it and no one can fix it. No one can explain it and no one can promise it will get better. No one on this side of heaven, at least. So this chapter of our life has reminded us to keep trusting the one who keeps us trusting, because only he can. I just think that summarizes how we can learn to better support each other, but also how we can figure out how is it that we're trusting him again, because we have felt so betrayed and alone and forgotten.
We're still grieving. I don't think we would ever stop grieving. I think it's learning how to live with the grief more so throughout the day. If you go in a dark place away from God, it's easy to be stuck there, and it's not helpful, and it's not
Healthy.
Healthy, yeah.
It's not a healthy place to be when you're stuck in your sadness and your grief. And we've learned so much about how it's okay to feel what we're feeling, and it's okay to bring those complaints to the Lord, and it's okay to talk to them or talk to other people about them, but it's not okay to stay there. We were new to grief and new to loss because neither of our families, I mean, we've lost people. We have a lot of grandparents that are in heaven, and but grief this close is so different and wild and messy, and we're both so new to it that we often didn't know before Hudson how to talk to people that are hurting, or how to do something that's actually beneficial to somebody that is hurting until now. And I feel like, not that that's something we want to broadcast, that thank you for teaching us how to be there for other people, but at the same point we are learning that sometimes just saying there's dinner on your front step instead of asking, can we make dinner for you? It's just that shift of a mindset just goes a long way for people that are going through things. And even COVID has brought so much loss and difficulties for other people that we all have things. We all have things going on, some different levels than others. But what's been helpful to us is just say, hey, I'm thinking of you. We're praying for you. We love seeing memories of him, or thanks for sending us that gift card for coffee. Like, there's just things that have been helpful, and things that aren't helpful are comparing grief, or saying, you know, how we feel, but at the same point, we know people mean well. I know that people want to check in and know how we're doing, things that have been helpful and things that have not been helpful. We just want to say thank you to everybody that's come alongside us in our journey, and I'm sure we'll continue to do so. We're very thankful for family and friends and our new Northridge counselors too. We just feel like we aren't strong, so when people are there to tell us that we are, and that we are in fact grieving gracefully, is definitely something that does our heart some good.